To be honest, I thought that people that had food allergies were just a bit fussy. That was until I realised that I had a gluten intolerance. And I noticed on the Australian Bureau of Statistics last time I looked that apparently 17% of Aussies have got some kind of dietary restriction, whether they're nut-free, egg-free, dairy-free, grain-free, gluten-free, what have I missed out? Air-free. It's a growing number, 17%, and no one surveyed me to find out what intolerances I have. So let's say that number could be significantly higher. What do you think? Do you think there are people out there with dietary restrictions? Are you seeing it a lot amongst friends, yourself, your family? I know that when I realized I was intolerant to gluten, it was really devastating. But I'm a pretty practical solution finding, problem solving kind of gal. So I just head to the shops. I was like, right, gluten-free bread, gluten-free cereal, gluten-free cookies, gluten-free pastry, gluten-free pizza bases, brought it back. And let's just say the results were very disappointing. And not only did it taste like cardboard, and there are a lot, we're talking like 8-9 years ago, there are a lot more awesome products on the gluten-free market now. But for me at that time, there wasn't anything that was an easy alternative, an easy swap. And when I looked at the ingredients to what was in there, I didn't know what half the ingredients were. And I was a bit skeptical and dubious about it. So I started making my own grain-free breads, cookies, pizza bases, wraps, etc. from home myself, because I knew I could use good, honest ingredients like free-range eggs, almond meal, zucchini, apple cider vinegar, sea salt, all these yummy things that I know are really nourishing for my body. But it took away that, it filled the hole for having bread, for having pizza, etc., right? And I know that, when you go into a paleo primal way of living, it's best to eat plants and animals, meat and veg, meat and veg, meat and veg, and that's fine for most of the time. But there are some times, like today, when you've got all these ideas you want to get out and all these videos you want to record for you. I don't have time to sit and chop a salad and spend half an hour chewing it. I just want something quick, like some sardines on toast, or today I just had some leftover quiche from dinner last night, and amazing, delicious. And so that's what I did. As I evolved on my journey, my husband had said to me, we can't go paleo without cookies. So I took our family favorite cookie recipe, I took out the self-raising flour, replaced it with almond meal, took out the margarine, replaced it with organic butter, swapped out the melts for 70% dark chocolate chips, and the results were so much better than the OG recipe, which was amazing and really inspiring. So my background is in the fitness industry. So I've been a health and fitness instructor since the age of 14, believe it or not. I also had a stint in the corporate world, a stint for 10 years as a business manager for a recruitment firm. So I've been working with women all of my life and asking them questions around what they're looking for in their health and their fitness, and also as a recruiter, what they're looking for in their lifestyle and their work. And so I knew that I once I'd reached my healing transcendence, I call it. So at the beginning of a healing journey, it's a very selfish time. It needs to be. You need to get yourself better before you can be any use to anyone else, right? That's okay. We all know that, and we're willing to do that. But you get to this point of healing, it's almost like the next level is to go out and be of service and help other people. And I know for me that really skyrocketed my own health transformation from being somebody who, felt sick all the time, couldn't sleep, couldn't poo, just to get absolutely anxious and depressed with phobias, who couldn't even do anything more in the day apart from think about what to cook for dinner and do the washing, and that was it. That was maxed out too much for me, and that was in my 30s. I'm now at the end of my 40s, and I've never felt better, which is fantastic. And so as a health coach, my clients said to me, look, I really feel so much better when I ditch the grains, ditch the seed oils, but I just don't have time to make everything from scratch. You know, I'm working, I'm a hairdresser, I'm a teacher, and I'm out of the house all day. I don't have time to, you know, soak my nuts and make friends with my farmer and chop up my cabbage and ferment it and make kombucha and, you know, do all the staples as well. Now we've had to chuck out the cereal, chuck out the bread, chuck out the cookies, right? So I said, oh, well, you know, would you like to buy some of these products off me? Because we found that they're a really nice swap and delicious and all the family likes them. You know, like to get a grain-free, healthy version of necessary, like junk food is a win, right? And my kids loved it, and my husband loved it, and I loved it. It didn't feel like we were missing out. It didn't feel like we were deprived in any way. So I started offering these products to my clients, and it was so much easier. That part of the business just took off, because instead of trying to learn all this theory and, you know, what happens when we eat grains and why we shouldn't eat them and what to do instead, you could just say, okay, right, just swap out that white bread and just have this pumpkin loaf instead. Much more delicious for your poached eggs. And they were winning, and they started to hit their health goals so much easier, with so much less stress and so much less overwhelm. And so at that point I knew that I had to get these products out to a wider audience, which is when in December 2016 I launched the Primal license. And this is where the recruiter part of me comes in, because I had seen time after time so many women who didn't want to just be in the workplace from 9 till 5. Come on, it's not 9 to 5 anymore. When I was there, it was 8 till 6, and even then you were kind of expected to stay back longer because they had lives to live. You know, they wanted to go to the Tuesday morning Pilates class. They wanted to go for a coffee with Sarah on a Thursday. They wanted to stay on top of all of their household jobs that they loved to do, but just got so frustrated trying to squeeze them in at the end of an already packed out busy day. So they were on a health journey. They were looking for time to weave in that self-care, that family care, all the important juicy stuff, right? So I created this business model. I had nutted out all the hard work, right? Because I got to tell you, starting a food business is such a beautiful idea, until I realized that I had no idea how to create labels. So there's some really serious fines out there for not having the right information on labels. And that's scary, but it's good, because if you are intolerant to anything, you need to know what's in there, and it needs to be really clear what's in there. And over the time, like the Primal license is going into its 7th year. Primal Alternative as a brand is going into its 9th or 10th year. It's crazy. And during that time, the laws have got more stringent. You also have to register your kitchen, which just sounded so scary. I didn't even know you had to do that. I started illegally, and luckily nothing bad happened, but it was all of that kind of like sleep at night factor, waking up going, oh my goodness, I've done something wrong, which we all don't want to do, right? So I've nutted out the recipes. I found like the winning formula for what people want to buy. I've got all of the food categories of the things people miss the most sorted, apart from ice cream, but that's a different product altogether. We've worked out the pricing. We know that these products sell. And if you're thinking, who's going to pay $16.95 for a loaf of bread? I'll tell you, thousands of our customers will gladly pay that, because they're overwhelmed, they're tired, they're busy, they don't want to go out and buy $80 of ingredients just to make one loaf of bread when they can get it from you and you've already done it. Amazing. So all of that hard work, all of that stress is all taken care of for my new primalistas coming in. There's help with getting council approval. So we've got this beautiful document, which is basically like a checklist of what your environmental health officer is looking to tick off. It shows our method, it shows food handling, how we're packaging our product, which by the way is compostable cellophane, which is another huge brand proposition, of big value of mine and of our producers, is that we don't want to contribute to food waste. We don't want to contribute to more plastic in the world, all these plastic bags. In fact, we want to be the antidote to big food. We want to be the antidote to food miles and food coming from wherever it comes from. And we want to be the antidote to, I mean, how many times have you been into the supermarket and thought, okay, I want something low carb, gluten-free, no worries. And you look at it and you're like, what is this? This isn't even low carb. But because these big food companies have got these amazing marketing departments that can kind of swizz us with a label, that's a problem. That's a big problem. And we want to, as a collective of our little network of home bakers, we want to solve that problem from the grassroots up, which is hugely exciting. So if this is all resonating with you, come and find out more. There's links below about the Primalista license, and find out when the next intake is and when it's ending. Because if this gave you little bits of butterflies, a little bit of like, oh, maybe I could do that, then definitely check this out. Because I've got to tell you, I have not got a background in food. I have not got a background in manufacturing or design or labeling or anything like that. I'm just a mum who was looking for some good, honest food that she could eat and that she could feed her family with. And the rest is history. So hopefully see you soon.